to episode 36 of Detroit Comics Party. My name is Mike, and this is Kevin, and our glorious guest today is Jon Pilbeam from Bluelight Tapes, the record label, and DJ Fetal Position.
Yeah.
The producer, the DJ.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys. What's up? Hi.
I was jamming your record in the car on the way here.
Oh, sweet. Which one?
The
weird MySpace one?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's
had
fun.
Crazy Milkshake cut up as the first track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made that thing when I made it in like 6 hours. It's weird.
Nice. That sounded very pro. Very like accessible.
I paid a lot of money for mastering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I paid like $75 a track to have this mastered properly. So
That's
they
awesome.
sound good when they're done. You don't want to hear the original mix down. It sounds like garbage.
Terrific. I've never in my life of 20 years of making music thought of giving money to a mastering guy.
I didn't until like I was like, man, I want this to sound good for tour. And then I did it, and I was like, this isn't my song. Like it's like literally night and day different. It's amazing.
How'd you find your person?
Just someone, Wadaboo from Ann Arbor, plays music and stuff. And like, I was listening to my friend's music, and I was like, which one of my friend's music sounds the clearest? And I was like, Travis's music sounds fucking amazing. So I was like, here you go. Here's some like shitty FL files. Like make these sound good. And then it came back, and I was like, my music sounds good. Cool.
Right.
You find that you're in the minority of people who do that?
Like pay
who
money
actually
for
have somebody else like.
No.
give
Most
the
people
input?
do it. Honestly, like most SoundCloud producers just use like plug-in for Ableton or something. But
Sure.
like they'll sound alright. But when you go and like pay someone who knows the science behind it, like insanely different. Like there's things in my songs that like I haven't heard yet that I'm just now hearing after listening to it for like 30 times since he finished them. So it's cool.
So you seem to be more hooked in to Detroit music scene and electronic music than I am. What's your diagnosis of?
Help. The diagnosis is help. Like, for me, like, there's some cool music scenes. Like, Ghetto Tech and Juke in Detroit is great because it's Godfather and Assault still live here. They still play here. So it's like here. But it's also because, like, we have two of, like, the 10 best DJs in the world. And the two best DJs in, like, Ghetto Tech who live in our town and still play every other week in our town. So if a friend's, like, shout out Shawnee B. Like Sean Barry, like he's producing great Juke, great Ghetto Tech, like playing out like a few times a month. But when the two best DJs in the world at that style are in your backyard, like you're never gonna get an opportunity until those guys stop playing.
Right.
And Detroit, it's great. There's a show every night you can go to and have fun, but there's so much happening that like you can't get noticed a lot of times.
So how do you stop them from playing?
I don't want them to, honestly. Like, they're amazing. Like, I don't want to stop seeing Godfather every 3 weeks play in Detroit, but I want to see other people play sometimes, too.
What do you imagine? You would like if they tipped their hat a little more to
Yeah,
you?
like,
or?
I'm finding, like, DJing, like, the rave, techno, whatever you want to call it, styles that I'm playing, that it's hard to get in with the people who've been doing it here for a long time. And, like, I'm not going to name any names, but there's certain clubs that start with a W and end with an Irks, where everyone's cars get broken into constantly, where, like, unless you're one of their crew who they've known, or, like, one of their guys, like, here's my new friend, he's going to come play here, like, you literally just cannot play there. I've been told, no, you can't play here.
Yeah.
And so, I find it frustrating that, like, I can go in other cities and other states and get booked playing, like, actual dance clubs to, like, anywhere from, like, 30 to 100 people on, like, a Thursday night.
Yeah.
But, like, 5 people at a show in Detroit on a Thursday night.
That's something that we
frustrating.
see all the time. Like in Detroit, we've talked about this many times where it's like you book the show and you're kind of, even if 10 people are there,
Yeah.
it's great.
It's like-
Whereas out of town, there's a scene that's rich and connected enough
Yes.
to where 100 people on a Thursday night wouldn't be unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just on tour for a week with Machine Girl from New York, and we played a show in London, Ontario, in a guy's apartment on a Wednesday night. There were 45 people there.
Dang.
And we played Detroit with a better lineup, honestly, the next night at the Russell, which should be a decent spot to have shows, like 15 paid at door.
Right.
Oh man.
And in Canada, I noticed, is also, like, in the London show, there's just the three of me, DJing for like an hour, then 5-Star Hotel from Detroit, the Machine Girl from Brooklyn, and we all played, and not a single person went outside during our sets. Like 45 people in an apartment, not moving. It was sweaty, like the windows were sweating, like disgusting inside there because there's 50 people in there, jumping around and playing music and whatever, and like they didn't go outside for a single minute during any of our sets.
Is it because there's so many shows going on at the same time, or is it because of another reason?
In Detroit?
Yeah.
I think we're just all like jaded assholes, honestly. Like, I'm saying this, but it's also real hard for me to motivate myself to get up and go out to one of our friends' shows on like a Wednesday night because I know it's gonna be the same 6 people who are gonna be there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution. I mean, we're not gonna find the solution, but is a venue that is 100 square feet where 6 people makes it seem rather full? Is that a solution?
They're more fun to play, honestly. Yeah. Like, there's this bar I play at in Cincinnati a lot with a dance area. It's like a New Dodge dive bar that has like a DJ section attached to it. It's really weird. But I play there about once a month, and there's only maybe like 15 people dancing at any given point in time, but the room's small enough to where like you're still bumping into somebody.
Right.
And so like it doesn't seem like you're just like one dude dancing in an empty warehouse or something. Which I've done. I like that.
Which that's what the show at City Club most recently, where we saw each other, felt like. Where like, I mean, I thought Donnie Weston draws. I thought he was a draw. Like, I've seen him, his shows that he promotes, maybe is what it is, with 1,000 people, with 2,000 people there.
When's the last time you saw a show like that?
With 2,000 people at it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years,
yeah. No, the thing is, like, that dude's set was cool. Like, I liked the music he played, but I don't want to throw shade on people on a television show.
Don't throw shade on Donnie. Donnie and I go back to, like,
no.
Boys,
like, it's artists in general seem to show up for their set and play and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And
he did bounce immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like, nothing against Donnie. Like, for a few minutes I talked to him, he seemed cool. And, like, I have friends who've known him for 15, 20 years, been playing shows with him since the 90s. And, like, seems like a decent guy. But, like, the guys, again, like, the problem of not being able to break into the scenes that already exist is, like, those guys didn't give anyone else who played the front room or anyone else who played before them or after them at City Club a chance to hear their music and be like, man, this guy's dope. I want him on my next show. Like, he didn't even give anyone there a chance to do that.
Right.
Is it because it's too competitive? Like, once you've carved out that area for yourself, like, you want to maintain your space and not let another person kind of come into it? Like a newer person or less known person?
I get that vibe, but also, like, when your space you've carved out is 15 people coming to your show, like, do you really give a fuck anymore? Like, I've had, like, monthlies or weekly DJ residencies in Detroit for the past, like, 2.5 years, and, like, maybe I'll get, like, 10, 15 people out, and, like, if, like, a bar is like, hey, this isn't working for me, I'm like, nah, dude, I get it. Like, right. You're not making any money by my 10 friends coming out and each buying $3 of alcohol and leaving. Like, you're not making any money, I get it. Like, I like these things, and I like being paid for playing music, albeit, like, $10 a night or whatever, but if they're, like, this other DJ wants to do this instead of you, like, I'm not trying to, like, fight for this 10 people playing at a bar in Hamtramck. Like,
yeah.
I just heard a tale about somebody renting the Verner's room, which is the smallest room in the Crowfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Grand, like shelling out
I've
big
been
bucks
there
to play that, and it made me think of when I played there. We didn't rent it; we just were booked there, and we packed the place, and it was bumping the whole night. And then at the end of the night, Carlo got $10, and I got $10. And we packed the place with paying guests.
Yeah.
And then a couple months later, we did the same thing at the Pike Room, which is an even bigger space, which we brought even more people at.
Vernon's
it was even more.
Downstairs.
Vernon's is downstairs. Pike is upstairs.
Vernon's is where they have, like, the wedding reception spots and stuff. It's maybe holds, like, 50 people or something. It's pretty small.
And then we got the same thing at the Pike Room where the door was more expensive. And then at the end of the night, Carlo got $20 and I got $20. And we had to fight, not fight the guy, but we had to, like, is there any, there clearly is 100 paying people here. It was full all night. Clearly you made money on the bar. Like, can we get anything?
Yeah.
Like, we had to, like, bicker with the guy about getting $40 total dollars. Where's the money? Like, did they just embezzle it? It must have existed.
This is actually something I talked to you before that I wanted to talk about. Is where I've noticed that bars in Detroit, especially, like, less so out of state when I play, but still sometimes, like, especially Detroit. I don't know if it's because, like, our economy is so garbage right now, or it was, and everyone's afraid that, like, we're not in a complete shithole anymore. But, like, when I book a show at a local bar and they need, like, X amount of dollars up front to pay the sound guy who is their employee to run the show, like, they're kind of, like, stacking the deck against promoters even making any money. Like, if I have to pay the sound guy at a bar in Hamtramck like $150 to be there and run this show, like, you're not getting, like, $5 a person. You're not getting 30 people paid at a door at a bar in Hamtramck on, like, a Thursday night. So it's deterring anyone from even doing smaller shows because I'm paying the bar's employee instead of the bar paying the bar's employee. Which becomes really frustrating. Which, like, probably like your thing, the Spike Room had to pay all their staff, all their stuff. They probably pay them out of the money you brought them from door, not out of, hey, we're a multi-million-dollar company who pays our employees.
We're just getting blacklisted. Every list we're blacklisted.
Everyone else already hates me. I'm good.
But I don't know. A lot of my thinking is we need to start littler, smaller social clubs where, you know, like the bar that has the small dance room. Like, maybe, there was even though it was the situation where most of the door went to the sound guy, we had a lovely couple days
if
at
most of the
Painted
door
Lady
goes to the sound guy, that's great. Like, if they respect the artists enough to just pay them relatively fairly, like, that's all you can ever ask for. Like, we all have regular jobs. We're not professional musicians, or else we wouldn't be sitting in the public access studio in Troy. We would be on a tour bus somewhere.
But I feel like there was that kind of atmosphere of the one party for the show was happening on one side, and the just people who were drinking at the bar was happening on the other side. Not that I like that segregation, but I did like that it was kind of multiple events happening in one small space.
Definitely.
I felt like that was a good feeling. And then I'm also thinking about a party here in the studio where this is not a big space, but we could have 20 people having a good time. And if it was 20 people who were here to have a freaking good time, then the vibe would be very positive. Whereas at shows, even when there's 20 people, not everyone's there to have a good time and have a lovely experience.
I used to DJ every month at New Dodge, and like everyone there, the staff there liked what we were doing, and like musically, like everyone was receptive, except for like the 3 angry dudes who like post on our event page about how bad our music was, like while we're playing on stage, and like my phone goes off, and it's like this dude who like I knew and like thought was alright dude. It's like blah blah blah. Man, this music at New Dodge sucks tonight. Like popping up on my phone next to me DJing. I'm like,
what?
I can see you.
So like, what kind of dudes was it? Like dudes your age or our age?
Old like thrash metal dudes in leather jackets, which is like I get, but it was just really funny to be like, this music at New Dodge sucks tonight. Bling. I'm like, hey, it's that guy.
Though I feel like I think a goal of a DJ or a performer should be to win the audience over at any cost. Where one of the most euphoric and joyful shows that I played, I was, in the booking process, I was under the impression I was going to play a rave, a happy hardcore rave. So I brought all the best happy hardcore jams and was going to do that like nice nostalgic, like 160 BPM happy hardcore routine. And I show up, and it's a metal show.
No.
And I'm a guy think I'm going to play 2.5 hours of happy hardcore, and then they think this guy coming is going to be a metal band. I was like,
hold on. How did they get that idea is my question.
There must have been some bad communication, and I was talking with a guy who knew a guy, not the person who was booking the show, I guess. And I didn't know that.
But I feel like anything of yours I've heard is pretty far from metal band.
Yeah. But metal dudes and metal chicks got down super vigorously when I played, and it was in this tiny bar that was like 14 feet wide and 50 feet long, and so it was this great like shotgun line of people, and everyone danced, everyone smiled, you know, and that like we made the connection.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Like I don't know the word for that feeling of like by like artistic choice of like what you play, like breaking through to somebody and like getting tough metal guy just like go dance to a Britney Spears song. Like that's a cool feeling. Like it's really weird and like really unique to capture, but like there isn't a word for it.
I didn't make anywhere near the connection that I thought I was going to make, but making any connection I felt like is better.
I mean, is it more of an accomplishment to like get the metal dudes to get down to happy hardcore, get the happy hardcore kids to get down to happy hardcore?
Right. That's how I felt.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you don't always get like this last tour. Like there's a lot of shows that didn't go how we planned, but like we made weird connections and it made fun out of it in our own way. And like, and that was almost better than having like 40 people at a show. Like the show we played in Cincinnati was in the cellar of an abandoned brewery. It's been abandoned for like 70 years. So it's just this concrete like half circle tunnel.
Okay.
And we had these crazy lights and visuals, and like there's maybe like 10 people at the show. It was a Sunday night, but we all just like played through this like real like tunnel reverb. It was like playing through an FL plugin.
Yeah.
And like the lights were so crazy to where like if you stood back far enough, you got like vertigo and like felt dizzy. And it was just an amazing experience. And like we lost a bunch of money because we paid the sound guy up front and all this stuff. But like I would have paid $100 just like dance with my friends for 3 hours in this fucking like crazy abandoned warehouse. Like that's a cool time.
So when you are like touring, are you going with a bunch of other people? Do you go in like a van, or are you in a car? Or
I've only done it twice, which is both this year, which was
okay.
really cool to be able to be lucky enough to do it twice this year. In January, I went out with a guy named Snesse. Hey, Corey. He's like chiptune, happy hardcore guy. It was like me and him. And at that point in time, I was DJing off of 2 modded Nintendo DS's, so I fit in with the whole chiptune aesthetic. But the software crashed every like 20 minutes, so it sucked. But we toured like 8 cities in 9 days in January, and that was really fun. It was just him and I in my little Nissan car cruising around. Went up through Canada, down to New York and Philly, like really cool. And then this year, or this fall, it was with Machine Girl from Brooklyn, and I just helped them book like 5 days of their tour. I was like, I'm gonna play these 5 days too. And at the end of it, he's like, I wish you could keep coming, but I couldn't because I have a cat and sick dog and stuff.
So you just jumped on a couple shows of a larger Machine Girl tour?
They're on tour from October 25th until the end of the year.
Dang, that's good.
I did the 2 Canada days with them, did Detroit, Ann Arbor, and Cincinnati with them, and they're off in Nebraska tonight, I think, or something already. Wow. And they're going down like 3 or 4 shows in Mexico. They're going everywhere. They just like hop in their van and go.
What basement are they in Nevada? Where did you say?
Nebraska?
What is? I don't even know what that is.
Omaha's a big city. There's some music happening in Omaha. It's like one of the like 15 biggest cities in the whole country.
Oh my god, what it is?
No, I don't know, but it's there.
That's where Bright Eyes is from.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bright Eyes, I know you're watching.
I see you. What else do we want to touch on? We had a conversation the other night that was... It confused me because it's true, where I had said...
Was that City Club?
I'm selling like 10 tapes for every 1 CD.
Oh,
as far as running a label.
I run a tape-only label. I can attest to this. Basically, it's like... I don't know how to put it. Like, somebody asked me about it at the show in Windsor, and I described it... I was inebriated quite well. And I described it really well, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was like the Poor Kids record collection.
Yeah.
Because like if you're buying one of the cool color like vinyls from like I want to buy the new Justice record on vinyl really bad, but it's like $35. And that's like 3 hours of work. Like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like you can go buy this like really sweet like fancy like shiny brightly colored cassette, $3, $4, like, and you can't scratch your cassette and ruin it really. Like you can tape over it if you tape over the tabs or whatever, but like, you can't break a cassette. Like I've ran it over with a car and it still played.
Yeah.
So I think it's like I would say like 90s kid generations like vinyl. It's gonna be like I think Billboard is tracking cassette sales for the first time this summer in like 25 years or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like big artists are putting cassettes out. Like I have a Dan Deacon cassette, I have a Yoni Wolf cassette, I have a picture playing cassette. Like it's becoming a thing now.
Huh.
And there was like special edition MF Doom tapes and like all the like
there's a lot of tapes that people sell on tour like they don't even like post about existing online and stuff.
That's cool. How many artists are on the label right now?
My label's like less like label like I'm signing artists to release their stuff, more just like giving an avenue to artists who might not have an avenue to have physical media out. And so like I run things like pretty much at cost. I've profited like $30 the past year running the label, which I'm cool with, but I've also put out over 1,000 cassettes.
Wow.
So like I'll pay $30 or I'll make $30 like spread 1,000 pieces of my friend's art out somewhere. That's awesome. But it's been cool. I started it in March. Started in March. March 1st is when I launched with I had like three decent releases. One from Ancient Language from Detroit. One Floor Bobber from Ohio is like video game jazz. It's like PS1's like a jazz pianist.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'll send you a link. Yeah. Hi, Floor Baba. But yeah, I had 3 solid releases when I started it and sold 70 tapes in the first weekend. So I was like, this is something I can do. And I'm like releasing the 17th tape tonight when I go home.
Nice.
And I have a project that's kind of weird, kind of illegal, but like it's 2016, fuck with me. Like it's try to do it every month if I have time, but like this month's late because I was on tour or whatever. But I find 2 musicians on the internet who are like electronic producers, DJs, whatever, and I put out a cassette. It's like a 30-minute DJ mix of their songs, the other people's songs, whatever they want. There's no track list, and I put out like 2 artists, like 30-minute mix each side, and it's only for sale for 72 hours, and then like no more ever made past what's sold.
Oh.
So I have
So you're doing pre-sale, so you know how many to make, or you?
I actually kind of. You ever hear of 1X Runs, like the art thing out of Eastern Market? It used to be 323 East and Royal Oak. I used to work for those dudes back when they were in Royal Oak, and like they started this idea, like, and I was moving on to like other job things, and like where they sell their prints for a limited time and they're not available anymore. It was like their idea works. I'm just gonna borrow their idea, and like. So it's been working pretty well. The biggest one I've had, I printed 75 that sold in 3 days, which is a lot of tapes in 3 days.
So when you're selling 70 tapes in a weekend, are you selling them in person, like
no,
at a show, or online, or what?
I have like a box of like strays that I have left over from my label on, like I bring to shows and sell, or just give away half the time, honestly. But like it's mostly online. Like it's really weird that I've like part of this music community on the internet and on SoundCloud and Twitter. Where I can like tweet like, "Hey, there's this new tape," and then like $100 shows up in my PayPal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's weird how the internet works.
Yeah, that's like
unheard of.
That is unheard of. I mean, we have to travel across the country to go sell like some.
I mean, that's the future though. It's like I do internet for a living, just in general, and like URL shows. Like SPF 420 was big for a minute, but it's not really doing anything anymore. But like that's the future. Is like we're all playing the like music is so accessible online. We're all playing like super like hyper specific genres of music at this point, and there might only be 8 people in Michigan who would get down with what I'm playing tonight.
But they want that tape because that's the only tape that's like that.
That's
right?
true. Well, I haven't. Yeah, it's other artists. I don't put my own music on those. Like popular people. But like if I'm putting together a charity URL show on December 3rd, which it's cool because we'll have like 20 people at this house show in Detroit, but we'll have 100 people across the country, like across the world watching. I have friends from Japan who watch all our shows online and stuff. Like my friends from Japan can't see me play otherwise. And if there's like my friends from Japan are the only ones who like this music I'm playing, like I gotta find an avenue for them to be able to see it. So the internet's the future as far as shows too.
Are they buying a tape in Japan?
Yeah, I've shipped tapes to 11 different countries. I think it is now.
Nice.
And these are just people you met online,
or people that I don't even know. The weirdest thing is, do you ever have people buy your music and you don't know who they are?
Yeah.
Isn't that the weirdest feeling?
Yeah.
Like the cassette I have is like there's no more left of it from like the first tour I did this January. It's just like I just bootleg a couple remixes and like a DJ mix on a cassette. Some man from California that I don't know bought it. Like went to my website, bought my tape that like made 30 of that I didn't even put online, and then like shipped it to California. And I'm like, who is this man?
I mean, I love that feeling, but I want to know that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like I should know my audience. You know, I like the idea of being like famous, where it's like, oh, so many get sold, I couldn't have met everyone, but. The reality is that I probably know everyone who's going to pay out money.
Yeah, like
I love when it's the ringer. Like, we did a record for Pauly Moonbeam that was digital only, and we made it so expensive on Bandcamp that I figured, like, it's a joke, you know, everyone will stream it off the Bandcamp, that's the way it's meant to be consumed. But somebody bought it for, like, the humongous sum.
How much was it?
Well, it was only $15. But
no, for a digital album, that's a humongous sum. It's usually like $2.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But so somebody bought it, and I had to stalk this person to find who it was, and it was a radio station that bought it. And then I looked at their playlist, and they'd almost played it in its entirety.
That's really
interesting.
Which is like,
where was the radio station?
I don't even remember. Not Michigan.
Whoa. That's
crazy. So maybe it was somebody who just had like a blank check, like buy whatever thing you think, and just like hit random.
Yeah, I have a friend that works at a radio station in Dearborn, and they just buy a bunch of music. Like, I walked into their CD library, which is the size of a studio, but like bookshelves, and I'm just like lost. And they're not categorized. So I'm like, Marvin Gaye, Moby, NoFX? Okay.
I don't know. I feel... How do you feel? Like, your industry is more video production. Like, how... You get a lot of views, but you don't know everyone.
No one will ever buy a video.
That is incorrect. I have an idea. The Machine Girl was just on tour with. They have 30-minute VHS music videos. Like there's one of their live sets recorded with like glitched out anime and stuff recorded to it. And they sell just VHS tapes at this merch at the show.
I don't know if if I could make that of the videos that I make.
No, but like there's because video and editing is becoming so accessible. You can edit like an entire like feature-length film on an iPad if you needed to. It wouldn't be great, but you can. Like technology is becoming so accessible that like boutique little small run VHS tapes of like some like art project you did on like a edited down like just like dubbed to a VHS tape.
Mm-hmm.
Like people will buy that.
Well, I don't know. I keep saying this all the time, but there's this Canadian law that I don't understand entirely.
I'm half a Canadian.
So, as I understand it, there's some type of like content law where like on the TV stations there has to be a certain percentage of the content that is made in Canada for any given hour or period of time. What I would envision as like the good result that we could have here would be to make that even more local and to say like it's content that's created in Michigan and it's for every station and it's for if there's any, or if it's a station over a certain like income level, they have to play this local stuff. They would be like forced to basically, and I think that might be one of the only ways to kind of save this artistic community as like something that you could do and not be starving and dying.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, like
I think it has to be like it has to be pushed.
That
in that
exists
way.
elsewhere already. Like I have like music people I know from like internet who live in the West Coast who like do like small time video production and like that's their job. Like I just feel like Detroit, we come from such an industrialized like stamping the metal at a factory, pressing the button, stamp the next part thing that like our culture and our just like our, I don't want to say like the generation older than us, but like kind of like we're brought up where like when I was in high school I was told like go to high school, graduate, either go to college and get a job or go work in a factory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my options.
Yeah.
I chose to like pack my shit in my car and live in my car, but
I mean, my dad supported our family his whole life, my whole life, by working in the factory and being that guy and coming home with grease in his hair and working, 12 hours at the steaming metal, the shrapnel in his eyeballs and stuff. And I feel like that taught me two lessons. One, don't do that.
yeah,
Like, don't have to go into factory.
It's like-
figure out something else. But the other one is use that level of manufacturing intensity and workmanship and, where everyone could be a fun artist and it's whimsical in my painting and my sensitive art and shit. But like when you look at it, I'm gonna make this art, but it's gonna be with the same rigor as my dad was putting metal in a thing and stamping it.
I feel like we have that in Detroit to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Like the amount of talent in like just my friends in Detroit is insane compared to most other cities. Like I had a show on my birthday 2 weeks ago at the place in Hamtramck and had friends from like Kansas City and Ohio like come out just to like play and hang out. And I was DJing. I stopped and looked like between those guys and like all my friends in Detroit who were musicians who came out to my birthday party and stuff. There's like I was like I could have a 25-person lineup and no bad acts, like just people in this room right now. And like you can't do that in most other places.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like we have the mentality of like we gotta grind and like work hard and like be the best at what we do. But I feel like our culture is still industrialized in Detroit to where like that's not appreciated yet. Like give it 10 more years. And like art and stuff will be appreciated like it is like in the East or West Coast here in the Midwest.
I hope so. Well, we're gonna start giving it 10 years right now.
Yes.
And thank you so much, John, for coming on the
Thank you for
show.
coming
We
on.
really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for watching at home. We'll see you next time.
Next time.
Wait.